After months of searching and endless rejections, every job listing I found either had no Omegas clearly printed in the fine text, or worse, the place was full and didn't even bother to interview me. My name is Jace Rowan, 24 years old and an Omega. Being an Omega isn't easy. Everyone expects you to be quiet, invisible, harmless. But my life is a little worse. I was born with a strong Omega scent, so strong that I have to take 5 pheromone suppressants every single day just to survive around alphas. Trust me, it's exhausting trying to stay unnoticed, trying to stay safe, and trying not to make powerful alphas lose control around me. It felt like the world had decided that Omegas like me weren't allowed to exist anymore. I sighed as I adjusted the strap of my bag and stared at the gleaming glass doors of Aurelius Tower, the biggest hotel in the city. If I was being honest, my heart was pounding for 2 reasons: excitement and absolute terror. But I needed this. I needed to earn my own money. And for once, I promised myself I would work hard and stay invisible. I stepped inside and was immediately swallowed by the warmth of the marble lobby and the faint scent of expensive perfume and polished wood. A small smile crept onto my face despite my nerves. At least here I could blend in, work quietly, and nobody would notice me. "Are you here for the room service position?" a cheerful beta woman asked. "Yes, ma'am. I just want to work hard," I stammered, forcing my nerves into a polite smile. After a short interview, I was hired. My heart did a little victory dance. Finally, somewhere I could exist without being judged for my scent, my status, or my being an Omega. The first day went smoothly. I carried trays of drinks, delivered snacks to VIP guests, and tried my best not to knock over anything fragile. But the other Omegas whispered warnings I couldn't ignore. "Jace, be careful around the alphas who come here," one Omega coworker murmured while handing me a tray of wine. I frowned. "What do you mean?" "Especially Peter," she said, her eyes sparkling with dreamy excitement. "He's kind of my dream man." She sighed dramatically, clearly lost in her own thoughts. I blinked. "Your dream man? He comes here sometimes for business meetings, and oh my, he's gorgeous." "Be careful, Jace. You know how alphas are." I nodded slowly, hiding the shiver creeping down my spine. Alphas. Powerful, intimidating, dangerous. And apparently, Peter wasn't the only one I needed to worry about. Then it happened. The automatic doors opened with a soft swoosh and everything changed. He walked in. Tall, sharp, and cold. The kind of presence that didn't just fill the room, it owned it. Every step he took made my stomach flip. And suddenly all the other Omegas froze. All eyes darted away. All trays of drinks paused mid-air. Whispers died instantly. Even the beta clerks seemed to vanish into the walls. "Why are they hiding?" I whispered to myself, stepping cautiously forward. A coworker appeared beside me, crouched slightly, as if she were part of a secret mission briefing. "That's Alpha Kale, owner of the hotel and the CEO of Aurelius Company. He hates Omegas. Their scent, it drives him mad. Stay out of his way." I blinked. "He hates Omegas?" She nodded gravely. "Everyone does. Even if you try to stay invisible, he can smell you. He's not like Peter." Peter. My heart clenched at the thought of the warm, charming alpha, but now my mind was completely occupied by this tall, unapproachable, dangerous man standing just a few meters away. I swallowed hard. I glanced down at my wrist, checking the small suppressants I carried. 5 times a day, I reminded myself. 5 times. That was the only way I could survive in this place without Kale noticing me, or worse, losing control. I adjusted my belt, straightened my back, and silently promised myself that I will work hard, stay invisible, and make sure I never, ever get on his bad side. The morning felt normal enough, until the hotel doors opened again, this time with a different kind of energy. Not cold, not dangerous, just bright and cheerful. That's when Peter walked in. He had that warm alpha aura that made betas smile and made omegas sigh without realizing it. Golden brown hair, soft amber eyes, and a playful grin. The moment he stepped into the lobby, every beta clerk straightened up with sparkling eyes. "Mr. Peter? Good morning." He winked at them, completely shameless. "And the omegas? Oh, they melted. Literally melted. One almost dropped her stack of towels. I stood by the counter trying not to laugh. If Kale was a winter storm, Peter was a spring breeze. Total opposites. Same species but completely different planets. Peter flashed another charming grin. Ladies, gentlemen. I'm only here for a quick visit. Don't miss me too much. The betas practically squealed. One Omega whispered, he's an alpha we don't mind being bitten by. I choked on my own saliva. I had been in this hotel for only a day, but it was already obvious. Peter was the golden prince everyone loved. Kale was the dark king everyone feared. And that morning, both kings were in the same building. Peter walked straight to the lounge. I didn't know if he came to see Kale or to hide from work, but there he was, pushing open the lounge door with confidence. Inside, Kale was already sitting in his usual dark corner, long legs crossed elegantly, paperwork in hand, aura cold enough to freeze the sun. Peter plopped onto the seat opposite him like they were total equals. You look worse than yesterday. Peter teased. Kale didn't even look up. Then stop coming here. He replied flatly. It then dawned on me that they were friends. A moment later, I heard my name from the front desk. Jace. Drinks for the lounge. And suddenly my heart was galloping in my chest like a scared rabbit. I swallowed, grabbed the tray and reminded myself. Stay calm, stay invisible. Do not let an alpha smell you. The suppressants should have been working. They should have been. I hoped. But the second I pushed the lounge door open, both alphas looked at me. At the same time. Peter's eyes widened first. He stared at me like I was some kind of rare animal he wanted to adopt immediately. His smile slowly curved, soft and interested. Oh no. I thought, nearly tripping over my own feet. The look he gave me wasn't just curiosity. It was interest. Romantic interest. I looked away quickly because my face was heating up. Why was an alpha looking at me that gently? But then Kale looked up. And everything inside me froze solid. His eyes met mine. Not cold. For the first time, they softened. Just a little. Barely noticeable. But I saw it. His gaze lingered for a second too long, on my face, on my eyes, on the tray shaking in my hands. Then he quickly tore his eyes away, jaw tightening like he'd made a mistake. My heart thudded. I stepped closer to their table. The moment I stood beside Kale, his shoulders stiffened. He inhaled sharply and deeply. My scent. Oh no. He noticed my scent. The suppressant was working but only barely. Maybe all the stress earlier made it fade faster. Maybe being so close to an alpha was pushing it through the cracks. I watched Kale's cold expression break, just slightly, like he was trying not to react but his body betrayed him. His nostrils flared again just once. His fingers curled around his glass, knuckles tight. I felt a shiver crawl down my spine. Was this bad? Was I in danger? Was my scent too strong? Peter noticed everything. He raised a brow, clearly amused. Kale, are you breathing heavily because of the workload or something else? Kale shot him a glare that could kill 5 people. Peter then turned back to me, his gaze even warmer, playful, inviting. Hey Jace, right? His smile deepened. I guess you are new here. You're interesting. I couldn't find the right words to say at that moment. My brain shut down. I somehow placed their drinks down without spilling anything. I bowed and escaped the lounge with the speed of someone running for their life. When the door closed behind me, I exhaled shakily. 2 alphas noticed me on the same day. One seemed curious, the other seemed affected. And both of them were dangerous for different reasons. My hand flew to my wrist, feeling the suppressant patch. I swallowed. I should probably change to another one, I whispered to myself and headed straight to the bathroom. I should have known today was going too smoothly. After running around serving drinks, cleaning tables, and dodging both alpha bosses, I finally rushed into the staff bathroom. My suppressor patch had been itching like crazy, and the glue was practically melting off from all the running I'd been doing. The moment I peeled it off, my pheromones exploded into the air, warm, heavy, sweet, the exact kind alphas went crazy for. Just great. If Alpha Kale even inhaled 2% of this, I'd probably evaporate on the spot. I hurried to grab another patch from my pocket, and the bathroom door swung open. It was Peter, of all people. He stepped in like he owned the place, tall, charming, smiling like the universe loved him specially. His eyes widened a little, then softened in amusement. He sniffed lightly. Someone smells like delicious strawberries. My heart jumped into my throat. I took a small step back. My scent was basically hugging him already. He leaned closer just enough to make my skin tingle. Your pheromones are incredibly strong, he murmured with a grin. Extraordinary really for a mere Omega. He said it teasingly, but I still flinched. I'm sorry. My patch came off and I'm trying to put it back on. Easy. Peter chuckled, raising both hands. I'm not going to bite you. Not unless you ask nicely. What? Why would I? I was already dying inside. As I tried to step away, the unused suppressant patch slipped from my fingers, fell to the floor, and slid right to Peter's shoes. He bent down, picked it up, and held it out with a small smile. You really are something, Jace. He stepped closer, then gently peeled the backing from the patch. Hold still, he said. I froze. He pressed the patch onto my neck, his fingertips brushing my skin, warm, slow, lingering just a little too long. My breath hitched. All done, he said and stepped back, satisfied. Thank you. I yelped and basically bolted out of the bathroom before he changed his mind. I didn't stop running until I nearly crashed into a wall. Or rather, a massive, cold, terrifying presence in front of the wall. Alpha Kale. Tall, sharp, handsome, and deadly. His eyes flicked to me instantly. Oh no. He was breathing in deeply. The air around him stiffened. He smelled me. Even through the suppressor. Panic slammed through my chest. I squeaked something that I hoped sounded like, "Good afternoon, sir," but it probably sounded more like, "Don't kill me, please." I spun around and ran straight into the storage room, pulling the door shut behind me and leaning against it while my heart tried to escape my body. I slid down to the floor. Somewhere outside, I swear I heard Kale's footsteps pause. And Peter's light laugh echo down the hallway. I buried my face in my hands. This hotel job was going to be the end of me. I stayed crouched in the darkness of the storage room for what felt like 20 full years. My heart was pounding so loud I was sure the canned tomatoes on the shelves were judging me. Then there was silence. No footsteps. No deep alpha breathing. No flirtatious chuckling. Okay, I whispered, wiping my sweaty palms on my apron. They're gone. I can breathe again. I opened the door. A hand shot out and yanked me back inside. I didn't even have time to scream. The door slammed shut behind me and suddenly my back hit the wall, firm hands caging me in. It was Kale. Alpha Kale. Cold, expressionless, painfully handsome, and way too close. His eyes weren't cold this time though. They looked like he was about to devour me. Why were you running away, Jace? My voice broke on the first word. I wasn't. Kale leaned toward my neck. He inhaled deeply. Dear universe, please take me now. His breath hit my skin, warm and slow, like he was savoring something he shouldn't. His eyes darkened with something primal, something that made every cell in my body scream danger. Your scent, he murmured, is different. His gaze flicked to my lips, then back to my eyes, filled with a heat I had no business seeing. What did you do? My knees almost gave out. Please, I whispered, don't mark me. For a split second, Kale's expression faltered, shock, then something like disbelief, then very slowly, he smiled. A small, dangerous, devastating smile. Mark you? He repeated. His voice dropped, low and rough. I've never mated with any Omega, Jace. I avoid Omegas. Your sense, your heat, all of it irritates me. His fingers brushed my jaw just barely. But you. He inhaled again, eyes narrowing. Your pheromones are driving me insane. I swallowed so hard I felt it down to my soul. Kale's breath grew uneven. For a terrifying moment, I thought he'd pin me harder or sink his teeth into me. Instead he stepped back. Just a single step. Enough for air to reach my lungs again. Leave before I hurt you. I didn't wait for him to repeat it. I practically teleported out of the storage room. By the time I got outside, my legs were shaking so badly I looked like a half-drowned puppy. And the worst part? The memory of Kale's voice. Your pheromones are driving me insane. Was stuck in my head like a cursed ringtone I couldn't turn off. That night when I got home, I collapsed on my bed and stared at the ceiling. How am I supposed to survive two alpha lunatics fighting over me? Everywhere was dark and silent. Just my heart pounding like I'd swallowed a drum. For the entire week that followed, Kale vanished. Not a glimpse of him. Not even the sound of his expensive shoes echoing down the hallway. It was peaceful. Well, peaceful enough. If you ignored the fact that Peter kept showing up every single day smiling like the hotel was his real house. He always came with gifts. Wristwatches, designer shirts, shoes that cost more than my rent. Every time he held out a box, my heart squeezed and I would immediately reject the gift. "I'm really okay," I'd tell him softly. Peter would smile, but it was the kind of smile that didn't reach his eyes. And that hurt me more than rejecting the gifts. By the next morning he showed up again, bright, energetic, and wearing a birthday sash. "I didn't know it was your birthday today," I said, blinking at him. He laughed and dragged me along with him before I could run. The hotel exploded with music and lights. Peter invited half the city. Everyone danced, cheered, and flirted with him like he was the prince of the world. Then something unbelievable happened. Kale showed up. The air froze instantly. He walked in wearing a dark suit, looking like sin and danger wrapped in silk. His eyes scanned the room, and landed on me. My heart jumped so hard I almost dropped the tray in my hands. Before I could catch my breath, Peter slipped his arm around my waist and pulled me closer in front of everyone. "I have a present for you," he said quietly. "A present for me? On his birthday?" Everyone gasped as he brought out an expensive wristwatch. Way too expensive for a room service worker like me. "Please don't break my heart by refusing," he whispered, eyes pleading. The other workers nudged me, whispering, "Just take it. It's rude to refuse a birthday boy." I didn't want to embarrass him, so I slipped the watch on and forced a smile. My eyes drifted to Kale. He was sitting still, expression unreadable, calmly sipping his drink and going through his phone as if none of this mattered. The crowd cheered for Peter and I slipped out once the noise grew too loud. Moments later, I heard someone say Kale left the party early and went upstairs to his private VVIP room. I didn't see him again. The next morning, I was cleaning when the manager waved me over. "Jace, go to room 207 now. It needs freshening up." 207? That room was supposed to be empty. But I didn't question it. When I reached the door, I knocked gently. The door cracked open, and a strong hand yanked me inside. I stumbled into darkness. The lights were dim, shadows dancing on the walls. Then I froze. It was Kale. His breathing was heavy. His pupils were blown wide, glowing with heat, desire, and something feral. I knew immediately what it was. His rut. My heart tried to escape my chest. Kale stepped closer, towering over me, eyes never blinking. I tried to speak, but he lifted a finger to my lips, silencing me without a word. "Don't talk," he murmured. His voice was deeper, raw and dangerous. His hands grabbed both my wrists and lifted them gently but firmly above my head. His gaze dropped to the birthday wristwatch. Peter's wristwatch. A freezing chill ran across the room as Kale's expression twisted. He snatched the watch off my wrist and tossed it to the floor. The expensive thing shattered instantly. I tried to say something, but Kale's eyes burned into mine. "Never take anything from strangers," he warned, his voice low and edged with jealousy. My brain short-circuited. I was terrified, my breath shaky, my knees weak, yet Kale stepped closer until our foreheads almost touched. "Calm down," he whispered. I couldn't. Not when his scent was so overwhelming. Kale kissed me before I could know it. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't slow. It was everything he had been holding back. Heat, frustration, hunger, pouring straight into me. And I saw myself kissing him back. I didn't mean to. My body moved on its own, responding to him, melting into him. His grip tightened, pulling me flush against him as if he was scared I'd disappear. The room spun and my heart raced heavily. Kale pulled away from the kiss slowly, his breath unsteady, eyes burning like he was fighting a war inside himself. For a moment he just stared at me, wild, conflicted, desperate. Then suddenly his grip on my waist tightened. "Jace?" he growled, voice trembling with something dangerously close to losing control. "If you don't leave right now, I won't be able to stop myself." Before I could even react, Kale's head dipped, his lips brushing dangerously close to my neck, right over the spot an alpha would mark their mate. My entire body went still. "Tell me to stop," he whispered, breath hot against my skin, "or I won't." My heart slammed painfully in my chest, because Kale, the same alpha who swore he hated Omegas, was trembling with desire in front of me, and he looked 1 second away from doing something that would change everything. Which alpha do you think will win Jace over? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to my channel so you can get notified when I post the next part. Don't forget to like and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching.